Hey gamers, Maniac here with GameAccess.net, trying a new way of doing a video review. This is technically a half review, half mind of Maniac, but I was inspired to do this video tonight after watching a recent review by Doug Walker. Calls himself the Nostalgia Critic. Every December, he does a review of Disney films, which he calls Disney December. So for 30 days of December, 31 days of December, he'll basically, review something even tangentially Disney related every day, and he'll do like a 12 or so minute video about it. He has never reviewed any of the films that I think he should review. I've been waiting at least 5 or 6 years for him to review the Disney Channel original movies Genius or Minutemen, which he has not done up to this point. Someday he will, hopefully, but it hasn't come yet. But earlier today, I'm recording this on Sunday, he did a review of the film Free Guy starring Ryan Reynolds. And over the course of that film, he did I guess the best way to call it is he did a plea, basically, for there to be a film that tackles a love story between what he described as a player and a video game NPC. And he then said, oh, if only Spike Jonze could have made this, or he listed a couple of other big name directors. He said they could do that film justice and they could just devote a whole film to basically that kind of story. I hate to break this to you, Doug, and I will admit I have actually met Doug Walker in the past. I met him back in 2009 or so. We watched the MST3K Space Mutiny. It was me, his brother, a good friend of mine, and a whole bunch of people at University of Connecticut. We all watched the MST3K Space Mutiny, and we had a good time. That was a fun night. But I'm sorry, Doug. The movie that you want exists. It has existed for going on 2 decades now. The film is called The 13th Floor, and it stars Vincent D'Onofrio, Gretchen Mol, and Craig Bierko. And I'm pretty certain I'm pronouncing all of their names correctly, but if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. It also stars one of the greatest actors, I believe, who ever lived, Armin Mueller-Stahl. And if you don't know who that man is, Google it. He's not the biggest name in every film ever, but damn it, that guy is one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life. And usually he always does an incredible role, for whatever. He's been in tons of movies. He's one of those Hollywood that guys, basically. But so you don't really know him by name, but damn, when you see him on screen, you always recognize him, and he always does an incredible performance. And again, he delivers again. As for D'Onofrio and Bierko, I'll talk about them in a minute or two. What is the film about? The film actually starts off as a murder mystery. It is, and I'm trying to try my best not to spoil the film, because I really do think people should watch it. But the problem is that it's kind of hard to watch right now. It was on the Pluto system a couple months ago, but after leaving Pluto, I haven't seen it on any streaming services since. And that's unfortunate, because I really would like to rewatch it recently. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. The film is a murder mystery. It takes place in present-day Los Angeles. So the majority of the film takes place in present-day Los Angeles. A crew of video game programmers led by or bankrolled by Armin Mueller-Stahl and run by the lead programmers being Craig Bierko and Vincent D'Onofrio have created a new type of virtual reality. Basically, think they made Grand Theft Auto in a big server farm. And the idea is that this is going to be a virtual reality game, but unlike putting on a headset, you transport your consciousness into one of the NPCs. And then for the time that you're in there, you can interact with the characters. They decided to make, I think, 1930s or so Los Angeles or something, basically Tinseltown golden era. And in the very beginning of the film, Armin Mueller-Stahl is killed by somebody we don't know. And the police suspect Craig Bierko because he would be the person who would inherit the company. He was the most likely subject. Craig Bierko then decides he wants to figure out who actually killed his boss. He liked his boss. Everyone liked his boss. D'Onofrio liked his boss. They liked Armin. He's Armin Mueller-Stahl. He's great. It's like, no, we liked him. And so the way he figures it, and the plot line of the film starts with, we find out Armin Mueller-Stahl has a daughter, played by Gretchen Mol, who wants the company. And there becomes a huge power play in the very beginning of the film as to, is it Gretchen, who should actually get it? She has she claims ownership of it because she's the, Armin Mueller-Stahl's daughter, at least she says she is. Is she? Femme fatale. Is she who she says she is? I'm not telling you. Craig Bierko on paper actually has the inheritance of the company. So, and of course, obviously, who killed Armin Mueller-Stahl's character? Now, for those of you who don't know these actors, I'm going to tell you specifically Craig Bierko, and I will Google Craig Bierko Long Kiss Goodnight. And of course, Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin. You're saying to yourself, those are guys who play psychopaths. And are they good at playing psychopaths? They're playing mild-mannered video game programmers? Why would they cast those guys? I won't tell you. I'm not telling you. But without spoiling anything, obviously Bierko goes into the game world to determine who killed Armin Mueller-Stahl and why. And as the movie progresses, things may not be what they seem to be. You have to take into account that this movie was released around the same time that The Matrix came out and Dark City came out. Most people cite The Matrix as like the big movie about simulations, what happens if a video game comes too far, is it real, is it a video game, that sort of thing. I always kind of felt the 13th Floor kind of got ignored because it came out around the same time, and it kind of felt like Matrix on a budget. And that's unfair, because the overarching art style and themes, while they can have some similarities to The Matrix, it's not the same movie. And as for Dark City, I'm not going to talk about that film at all. I saw the previews for it. The movie made me, just looking at the film's previews, made me sick to my stomach. It was just so dirty and disgusting. And I know that art style really appeals to a lot of people, but I'm sorry, but I'm just not one of them. And I remember listening to a review of it by Charles Sonnenberg, who calls himself SF Debris. And I couldn't actually watch the video, or his video review. I literally had to listen to him to narrate it, basically, because just looking at the film just made me utterly sick to my stomach. It was just so disgusting. But I know that a lot of people would, nowadays they're looking at, obviously, The Matrix is being looked at again, and Dark City's been looked at again, probably because of their aesthetic and their art styles, as well as their subject matter. But nobody talks about the 13th Floor. And I honestly have no idea why, especially given the fact that, without spoiling anything, this is the movie Doug Walker claimed he wanted to see. I won't say why. I'm just going to say, please look up the movie. And if you have seen it, post a comment below and tell me what you thought of it. Maybe it's just me, I have rewatched the movie several times over the years. I obviously don't have a copy of it. Unfortunately, the film never got a Blu-ray release as far as I can tell. It did get a DVD release that's long out of print, unfortunately. I never could pick it up back in the day. That's a regret of mine. I heard there was a 4K disc release, but I've never actually seen a 4K disc on any shelf anywhere. So maybe it was international only. I don't know. I'll have to look that up again. But yeah, it's like I said, I would have been fine with the DVD if they just simply reprinted the DVD. But yeah, that's a movie that means a lot to me. The actors are awesome in it. Heck, Dennis Haysbert, I think that's his name. The guy from the Allstate commercials is in it too. He plays the detective, and he's great in it also. He used to play detective roles a lot before he got cast for the Allstate stuff, and then of course I think he got cast as president at one point for, like, I think he played the president in 24. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, he was just great in the detective role. And again, for a film noir, it was great. It's great. Also, it has one of my favorite locations ever in any film, the Ennis house, the famous Frank Lloyd Wright. And any movie that has that house in it, the interiors is okay with me. So you guys have listened to me ramble about this film for 10 minutes. Hopefully it's inspired you to take a look at it. If Doug Walker ever watches this, hey Doug, I don't agree with a lot of your film reviews, but this is a movie I think you really do want to see. So until next time, guys, my name is Maniac with GameAccess.net. Take care. Over and out.